Now on CoastTV News.
New leaders in Cape Henlopen School District. We hear from some school board election winners after the votes were tallied. Stockley Spotlight. The future of a sprawling state campus is up for discussion. How you can share your suggestions. Heated hearing. Tensions boiled over at a House committee meeting today. Why more than 24 protesters were arrested.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
The new Cape Henlopen School Board celebrating tonight. Good evening. I'm Christina DeRobertis. Welcome to CoastTV News at 11. We begin tonight with school board election results, and we'll start in the Cape Henlopen School District. Unofficial results show voters have elected incumbent Bill Collick to keep his at-large seat on the board. Collick has worked in education for about 5 decades. He has served as the at-large board member in Cape since 2020, and here's what he had to say tonight.
It's a great feeling having grown up here, having gone to school here, having been in the first graduating class, and then I always say the opportunity to come back and continue the work that you want to get done and see get done. I look at it as a great opportunity to help kids. I still believe that adults need to be supporters of kids in school.
And the unofficial results show that Collick defeated Chris Lovenguth by more than 2,000 votes tonight, and he will hold the seat until June 2029. Also for Cape Henlopen's District C, it was Patty Mall with the most votes. She was in a 3-person race. It was between Mall, Laura Parsons, and Andy Lewis. Mall received about 2,000 votes, followed by Parsons with about 1,500 votes. Lewis got just over 500. Mall says she's planning to focus big on mental health.
My biggest goal is to make sure that our students have advocates, someone that's there for them, especially with our staff too. I really want to make sure we put in a focus on mental health in our district. A lot of our kids are struggling, and we make sure we focus on that and make sure that the teachers have resources so that they can help our students.
And her term will run through June 2028. The District B seat was uncontested, with incumbent Jason Bradley automatically reelected. And there will also be some new faces on the Indian River School Board. Unofficial results showing Lisa Hudson Briggs won the race for the District 1 seat. It was the only contested race. For District 2, Jerry Peden Jr., he ran unopposed, and Michelle Parsons ran unopposed for District 4. Speaking of schools, overcrowding in schools is something we have heard for quite some time here in Sussex County, and the Sussex County Councilman Steve McCarron brought up the conversation about a school impact fee for new housing projects today. It would be allocated for overcrowded schools. The exact amount of the fee, if approved, remains to be determined, but representatives from local schools spoke in favor today.
It's extremely important for us. We've seen a tremendous amount of growth in the past 10 plus years in our district, which leads to overcrowded buildings and buildings at capacity or over capacity.
And so the next step is for the Sussex County Council to come up with a specific recommendation for that fee. They say they're looking at Kent County's model to start. And it's not the first time a school impact fee was debated. In 2024, Sussex County Council chose not to move forward with a proposed ordinance for a voluntary school assessment fee. Councilmember Mark Schaefer opposed it, saying the tax would impact middle and lower class individuals. But the issue became central in the District 3 race, where Schaefer lost to Jane Grunebaum, who has vocally supported the fee. Then in October, the Cape Henlopen School District urged the council to reconsider implementing it. And it does bring us to our CoastTV poll tonight. We want to know what you think. Who should pay more in school taxes? Let's take a look at the results here tonight. Take a look at your screen. You can see 76%, most people saying developers should pay more in school taxes. A few saying all of the above, so all taxpayers, state government, or out-of-state home buyers. Definitely a few mixed results here. We also got a comment tonight. It's from John Sell in Rehoboth, who says developers should bear 100% of the costs. He says their projects are responsible for enticing new residents to move here. He says as an educator, he sees daily how Sussex County's overdevelopment is straining the schools. So We want to know what you think, and you can leave your own comment. You can also still vote. Not too late. Just go to CoastTV.com or use our mobile app. Well, now you're looking at Delaware's Stockley campus. It's just south of Georgetown. The Department of Health and Human Services is conducting a feasibility study to revitalize this property. The property right now includes 23 buildings, home to multiple state agencies. It will also house Sussex Central High School and Delaware State Police Troop 4. Tonight, the public had a chance to share feedback on the campus's future. Some suggestions included adding an inpatient rehab facility and a shelter for domestic abuse victims. And you can submit your own suggestions and comments until May 31st. Now we're taking a live look outside into Lewis, and our First Alert Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams joins us now with a look at our First Alert weather. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening to you. And as we take a look at what's happening with our forecast, we're overall seeing rainfall totals that are just actually coming in right now as we speak. Taking a look in Salisbury, we're still expecting a chance of scattered showers continuing throughout the night. We're at just shy of a quarter of an inch for us actually in Georgetown, just over a tenth for us in Ocean City, 0.2 or just two tenths of it for us in Salisbury, and right at about a quarter of an inch for us in Cambridge. So we weren't talking about or concerned about necessarily a tremendous amount of rain just yet. We'll have more as we go into the early morning hours for tomorrow. Here's the general movement of the rain. It's moving from the south to the north right now. Ocean Pines, Golf Club Shores, and Frankfort right now. We see a lot of rain that's moving right along the highway right now along 113. And also between Georgetown and Rehoboth Beach, we have some heavy showers actually. Well, heavier showers actually for us along Route 9. And then in Seaford, we're seeing the last wave that's lifting to the north and out of the way. Widening the scope here, we see heavier showers over on the other side of the peninsula with an embedded thunderstorm making its way through Oxford and headed up towards the folks that live in Cambridge. So watch out for a heavy downpour there within the next 5 minutes. Coming up, we're going to talk about some additional areas where we've been tracking the rain and how much more rain is yet to fall.
All right, thank you, Paul. Now we go to Fenwick Island. Some parts of town there you'll find sidewalks along the road, but large parts don't have sidewalks. They have nothing at all. Some of the existing walkways, they lead right into the grass. Coast TV News reporter Kevin Zappé shows us new DelDOT plans for Fenwick Island that could be a safer option.
Kay Malone likes to take a little time out of her day to walk around Fenwick Island, but she wishes it was a little more structured.
Well, I walk Fenwick every day, and I usually go down Bunting and then come back Coastal Highway. But having the sidewalk extend all the way down would just be a lot safer.
On Tuesday, DelDOT and the Fenwick Island mayor held a meeting to show off their first renderings of a new sidewalk project.
We need to be safer through the use of sidewalks.
The idea is to get a little community feedback. The goal of this project is to add sidewalks that would stretch from James Street all the way to Lighthouse Road. Fenwick Island Mayor Natalie Magdeburger says this could make a big difference for the town.
In the summertime, like all of our coastal communities, we balloon, and walking, riding bikes, pedestrian type of traffic is very, very important, and we want to make sure everybody's as safe as possible.
Right now, Fenwick Island does have some sidewalks along Coastal Highway, but they don't have anything at all in other spots. To fix that, DelDOT plans to use around $3 million to finish what the town has already started.
But this is going to be the rest of the sidewalks.
Malone thinks making Fenwick Island more walkable will help everyone.
I think people staying in the hotel walk down to Matt's or some of the other businesses. So it'd be very handy for them to have a sidewalk to walk on.
If and when this project is finished, it will turn a scattered path through town into a smooth stroll along the coast. According to Mayor Magdeburger, if everything goes as planned, then construction of these sidewalks will start in 2028 and will be completely finished by 2029. I'm Kevin Zappé in Fenwick Island, Coast TV News.
Some road work to be aware of in Lewis. It's all part of the Pilot Town Village Stormwater and Street Improvements Project. The city says daily work will begin at 7:30 a.m. It's all on Ocean View Boulevard and the small streets around it. This will last all week, and then it's going to pause for the weekend. The city says it should be done by May 20th, weather permitting. And drivers in Rehoboth Beach will soon have to pay to park. The paid parking season begins Thursday, May 15th. Drivers will have to feed the meter $4 an hour. That's between 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. Permits will be required between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. in designated areas. The paid parking season runs until September 15th. In political news tonight, Capitol Police removed at least 25 protesters from the House Energy and Commerce Committee hearing today. As Sherelle Hubbard explains, it has to do with House Republicans' proposal to slash spending on Medicaid.
Some very loud and vocal protesters were wheeled out of the House Energy and Commerce Committee meeting Tuesday afternoon. The committee has goals of cutting $880 billion from programs in its jurisdiction over the next decade, according to an initial Congressional Budget Office analysis, by clawing back unspent IRA funds, axing clean energy programs, and making changes to Medicaid eligibility requirements.
The abuse ends now.
Republicans say they intend to cut the waste, fraud, and abuse from programs like Medicaid.
For far too long, illegal immigrants and able-bodied Americans who can return to the workforce have been draining funds from the low income who need that Medicaid.
One version of the committee's proposed plan would require certain recipients, ages 19 to 64, to work at least 80 hours a month to retain their benefits. Chairman Brett Guthrie says the plan is for Medicaid to cover only the people it was intended for.
Expectant mothers, children, people with disabilities, and the elderly.
Some Democratic representatives held up Medicaid Matters signs during the meeting, Democrats critical of the proposed cuts.
For months, the Republicans claimed that their tax plan wouldn't touch Medicaid. Now we know that's a bold-faced lie.
Republican Speaker of the House Mike Johnson acknowledges that compromises are the way forward.
No one's going to get 100% of what we want.
I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
Now, 11 House committees are working on pieces of the bill, which will then comprise the package, otherwise known as President Donald Trump's Big Beautiful Bill. House Speaker Mike Johnson has an ambitious deadline to vote on the legislation, which is before Memorial Day. And we are just getting started tonight on Coast TV News at 11. Coming up next, we'll take you to the first Food Truck Tuesday of the season in Georgetown. But first, why people took the time out of their week to honor every law enforcement agency in Sussex County.
And in Cambridge, we're looking for rain on Wednesday, rain on Thursday, rain on Friday. Will it rain over the weekend? We'll let you know in just about 60 seconds. All right, so we take a look at Salisbury, and it's drizzly, it's rainy, it's gray, it's all those things that remind you of Monday. But it's Tuesday, but that's okay. Wednesday's going to look like Monday, and Thursday's going to look like Monday, and Friday's going to look like Saturday. And Sunday, it's going to look just like Saturday and Sunday. Stay with me. You'll see what I'm talking about. Hang with me, okay? So in Salisbury, 62 degrees, where we are now. We're going to stay in the 60s, and we're going to see some additional light scattered showers. Not much in the way of rain, but everybody's got a piece of the pie here. Nearly a quarter of an inch officially in Georgetown, over a tenth in Ocean City, a quarter of an inch right on the button for us actually in Cambridge for right now, but more rain is actually headed there as we speak. Most of the rain is lifting to the north. We have concerns about gusty winds as well. But you can see over towards Oxford, and they're really just crossing the Chesapeake Bay, a heavier shower, just one isolated cell where we had a little small pocket of, this is a wonderful, I'm not going to try to nerd out too bad on you, but this is an example of just a very small or micro scale heating that happened right here over Oxford that popped a strong storm. It's actually creating a little bit of hail there, but that's it. The entire system as a whole is relatively docile with the exception of back here, which is well to our west. Low 60s right now. Evening planner indicating that we have temperatures in the 60s at this point. And as you take a look at our expectation, we're looking for it to stay cloudy for tonight. And we're going to stay really unsettled for us for today and going into tomorrow. And as you take a look at our expectation for the next 12 hours, we are going to stay on the hot seat as far as this rain is concerned in our neck of the woods. So we take a look at our future cast. And right now, here's what's happening. 2 o'clock in the morning, that's when those storms will really begin to kick in, particularly between Fenwick Island and Ocean City, with the winds out of the southeast. Look at how it's lifting up towards Long Neck. So it's really tomorrow early in the morning we're going to get the lion's share of the amount of rain that we expect, according to our long-range models. Then we'll have another round that'll push right across portions of 13, and then we'll warm like to near 80s actually for us on Thursday. So we got a couple of muggy days setting up for more rain for Friday. Now the amount of rain, we have to really take into account the entire rest of the week. So we have 3/4 of an inch of rain for the next 3 days. Divide that up. It's not all that impressive in the amount, but it's going to be a long period of time. We're going to have to deal with the rain. We have that same pattern happening throughout the most southern portion of our viewing area. So when we take a look at the next 5 days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, that's where we have the majority of rain that's going to be hitting our neck of the woods, and that's what we'll contend with. Now, we're going to have slightly above normal rainfall total, so keep that in mind. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. The weekend's looking like Saturday and Sunday because there's not going to be any more rain, and temperatures will be in the 80s.
Well, that's good. Okay, thanks, Paul. Well, on Tuesday, the Back the Blue Caravan gathered law enforcement from Sussex County to hand out gifts and show appreciation for all they do for the public. Drew Sunderland, who has been putting this together for 7 years now, says it's the least they can do to say thank you to the people who protect and serve.
Nobody else is doing this for them, and they really appreciate the fact that we take the time to organize this every year, put it together, and make sure that every agency is honored.
And today was just day one for the Back the Blue Caravan. There are more events happening throughout the rest of the week. In Georgetown, food trucks are back on the menu. Today, they were back on the streets for the first time since 2019 for Food Truck Tuesday. It's from 11 to 2 every second and fourth Tuesday until August. A rotating variety of food trucks will be right beside the Georgetown Circle. Plenty of folks showed up today to support the event, and the vendors say they're excited to get to work.
And I'm definitely glad to be out here because I haven't done anything in like almost a year. So I'm definitely glad to be out here today.
Yeah, and Food Truck Tuesday is an effort by the town and Chamber of Commerce to bring some life other than traffic to the Georgetown Circle. Coming up next, debt and inflation data show good news for Americans, but why experts say it may not last. Well, it looks like Burger King plans to remodel hundreds of locations this year. The fast food burger chain in the process of modernizing its restaurants. USA Today reports Burger King plans to remodel about 400 locations this year and expects to finish remodels at about 2,000 locations by 2028. The CEO of Burger King's parent company says the chain has seen sales increase at these remodeled locations. According to new data, Americans cleaned up some credit card and auto loan debt to start off the year, but the debt outlook for millions of student loan borrowers was a different story. Past due student loans hit credit reports for the first time in 5 years, tanking credit scores in the process. And speaking of money, Americans did see lower prices at the grocery store last month, but some economists think Tuesday's inflation report could be a low point for consumer prices this year before President Donald Trump's tariffs take further hold. Karen Kaifa is in Washington to break it down.
Inflation cooled during April, an unexpected development for economists who expected year-over-year price increases to tick higher because of President Donald Trump's tariffs. According to the April reading of the Consumer Price Index released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics Tuesday morning, the annual inflation rate was 2.3%. That's the lowest annual inflation rate since February 2021. Still, analysts believe inflation could head higher and consumer spending could slow.
What's difficult about this reading is to know whether this is going to be an honest reflection of how things are going to look for the rest of the year, or if it's even an honest reflection of the way consumers will act tomorrow.
This was the first reading to capture the aftermath of President Trump's so-called Liberation Day tariff announcement on April 2nd. Economists cite a few reasons for the price hikes not immediately showing up in the inflation data, including significant shifts in White House policy that resulted in scalebacks or pauses on some tariffs and businesses front-loading imports before tariffs took effect. Consumers did see relief at the grocery store, where prices dipped 0.4% from March, including the price of eggs, down 12.7% for the month. Gas prices and airplane fares were also lower, but that raises potential warnings about falling demand amid declining consumer confidence readings. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
Coming up in sports tonight, the two best in the North Division round the regular season. One team will come out on top, and DSN will have the girls' lacrosse highlights. And coming up, the FDA plans to get rid of prescription fluoride for children. The reason behind the move.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
New today, doctors say they discovered a small nodule on the prostate of former President Joe Biden. The discovery happened during a routine exam, but it is unclear what caused the small nodule to appear. Doctors say it required further evaluation. Now, a prostate nodule is an unusual growth that could be caused by cancer, an infection, or inflammation, and they are common as men age, especially after midlife. Well, the Food and Drug Administration is pulling prescription fluoride drops and tablets for children. They're pulling them off the market. The FDA announced the move Tuesday in a news release suggesting that ingested fluoride can, quote, alter a child's gut microbiome and cause weight gain, thyroid disorders, and possibly decreased IQ, unquote. Well, it's not a new problem, but the danger of lead poisoning is back in the news as officials in Milwaukee, Wisconsin work to remove the potent neurotoxin from aging schools following the city's confirmation that a child was poisoned by lead from peeling paint at a school there earlier this year. But how does this naturally occurring element affect the body? In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on the health hazards of lead.
It can be found in the air, the soil, and the water. Lead exposure can be harmful to everyone, but it's especially dangerous to children as their bodies are still developing.
There is no safe amount of lead.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta says lead does leave the body after exposure, but it can accumulate, stored in the blood, soft tissues, and organs. Because of that, it can cause problems throughout a person's life if it continues to build up. Lead poisoning in a child can lead to damage to the brain and nervous system, slowed growth and development, learning and behavior problems, and hearing and speech problems.
In adults, it can cause problems if you get significant lead toxicity, including problems with your cardiovascular system and your cognitive system as well, your central nervous system.
You can lower your chances of lead exposure by preventing paint deterioration. Stay on top of water damage quickly and completely. Keep your home clean and dust-free. Clean around painted areas with a wet rag to remove paint chips or dust. Use cold water to prepare food and drinks. Flush water outlets used for drinking or food prep. Clean out debris of outlet screens or faucet aerators on a regular basis. Wash children's bottles, pacifiers, and toys often. And teach children to remove their shoes and wash hands after playing outdoors. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
What's going on, sports fans? We've got the top two teams in the Henlopen North battling it out on the lacrosse pitch. It's the Riders and the Vikings in Camden, Delaware. Cape Henlopen has not lost a game since the 2023 state championship. Meanwhile, the Riders haven't lost a regular season game to a Delaware opponent since falling to Cape in 2024. Cape up 3-2. Claire Lopez would find Hanley Gamascello, who finds Twine. Cape with the rock again. There's Gamascello, who finds the back of the net times 2. Vikings now in front 5-2. We skip all the way to the third quarter. Vikings up 10-4. Riders with the rock. Delaney Miklas finds Brooke Roberts, who's getting it to go. This time it's Ella Brown getting in front, puts a shot up in front of the goalie, and that's good for another CR goal. Riders with the rock yet again. It's a racing Miklas as she finds Logan Fuchs, makes a move and gets the score. It's 10-7. Vikings still ahead. We jump to the fourth quarter. Cape's Gamascello gets herself a free position opportunity and capitalizes. Vikings put an end to CR's scoring streak. Riders looking to respond. L. Roberts finding Brown in a sea of Vikings and gets it to go. Your score 11-8. Free position shot for CR. This is Fuchs. She is going to take it, bouncing between two defenders, and it works. But Cape Henlopen would come out on top in this game, 12-9. That'll for sports. Have a great night, everybody.
80 years ago this week, a German submarine surrendered off the coast of Lewis, and our special story, Surrender at Sea, looks at how Delaware played a role in the final days of World War II. You can watch that story tomorrow night. It's airing during CoastTV News at 6. And coming up next, top picks. The most popular baby names of last year are in. We'll show you who's on top. Well, the top baby names for last year are out, and it looks like Olivia and Liam have held the top spots on the Social Security Administration's list of girls' and boys' names since 2019. A lot has changed in 30 years. In 1994, it was Jessica and Michael. The top 10 most popular names have been largely unchanged for the past 6 years, with Emma, Noah, Charlotte, and Oliver consistently being chosen by new parents.
I thought it was Christina and Paul. Oh, well, so be it. All right, so our Salisbury camera and Tidal Health camera, we're at 62 degrees, and we're going to stay in the lower 60s with scattered showers, just kind of meandering across the area in general. Our umbrella giveaway winner is Marivera Ortiz of Bridgeville. Congratulations, courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration Home Remodeling. And that umbrella is going to come in real handy this week. You can call our weather line, keep up with your forecast, 443-880-9100. Your forecast is just a call away, sponsored by the law offices of Brooks, Edmond, Dallas, and Federico. And here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. 77 for Wednesday, 79 for Thursday, 86 on Friday, rain all 3 days. However, the good news is Saturday and Sunday, we knock it out of the park with 80s and sunshine.
All right, awesome. Thank you for that, Paul, and thanks for joining us for Coast TV News at 11. For some more local news and local weather, you can download our Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon's up next, and we'll see you back tomorrow for Coast TV News at 5 a.m. Have a great night.